You welcome back once again. I hope all of you are doing great. We got an amazing feedback on our decentralized voting DApp. A lot of you have followed the project, and I got an amazing feedback the way you guys have built on top of the existing model we have utilized in the decentralized app. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick update in the project because one student facing a problem during the setup, but I would highly encourage you to follow the complete project. So you can simply come and watch this. You will master complete decentralized voting management on the blockchain, that how you can use the same model you can utilize in corporate, in business governance. So make sure to follow the complete project. You will understand every single thing that how we have built this particular project. So make sure to come back here in the blockchain coder and you can simply get the startup file in which every single thing is provided. So click on this get now. Click on this startup file, it will take you to GitHub, and here you can able to find all the folder and file structure we have designed for this particular project. So you can easily able to understand the packages, the module we are utilizing. So you can simply click on the packages and file, and you will find that we are using all the modern technology which is very relevant, which will help you to do the optimization in the project in a higher level. So make sure to check the complete project. You will understand every single thing. In this video, I'm going to show you that how you can do the setup once you will take the final source code. So down the final source code, you will get the zip file. Make sure to extract that file, and that you will have this particular folder called voting tab, in which you will have the complete source code of the project. So this is the one which I'm going to simply open. Let me close this one and let me click on my VS Code. I'll go back to open and go back to download, and here I have this particular folder. Select this one and open. So this is the complete source code of the project which we have coded in the project. So make sure to follow the complete project. You will understand everything. Now let me give you a complete walkthrough of the entire folder file structure and how we have made this even in more optimized. So all you have to do is to change in environment variable and everything would be working fine. That's also we have explained in detail in the project. So the very first thing we have in this particular folder is the assets. You will find all the images which we are utilizing. So we have all of these images for the candidates, and we are simply importing here and we are simply exporting. So you can check this. Then we have the component in which we have all the component for our application, like button, we have the card, we have the input, we have the nav bar, we have the voter card, and we have the loader. You don't need to make any changes in any one of these components. I'll tell you what are the changes you have to do. Now come back to the context. Here you will find that this is the main feature where we are performing all the transaction. So we have the constant. What I'm doing here, we are getting the important environment variable like network configuration, honor, and the contract addresses from our environment variable. So you don't need to make any changes right up here. Right now you can see we have all of this network is available. So I'm going to first deploy the contract in the localhost. So first I'm going to deploy the contract to localhost, and this is the configuration we have for the MetaMask as well as in our project. And then I'm going to deploy the contract to hostly test network. So you can literally configure any network, but make sure you should provide the relevant information in these places. So you don't need to make any changes, just keep it as it is. I'll tell you what are the changes you have to do. Close this one. Now come back to the create JSON. So this is going to be our complete ABI of our contract, which we will get once we'll deploy the contract. So let's close this one. And here we have our voter. So you don't need to make any changes here as well. Every single thing is well optimized, well performed. So what we are doing, we are getting the environment variables like Pinara API key, secret key, hash, post hash, and JSON hash. That's what we have imported, and we have done the update exactly. So every single thing is fine. Don't make any changes. Let's close this one. Now come back to the contract. So this is the huge contract we have written, which allow us to facilitate this entire transaction. So this one is very important. You have to understand the logic we have utilized in this particular contract, because some of you have got confused when it's come to a registration of the candidate and the voter. So only admin has the authority to register a candidate and the voter. That's the thing you have to understand. This is the contract we have. Let's close this. I'll show you everything in action. Just wait. Then we have the page. So altogether, we're going to have 4 pages. This is going to be our complete context management setup. You don't need to do anything in here. We're going to have a allow voter. So here you will find all the voter which is allow for giving vote. We'll have a candidate registration. We have a index.js where we're displaying all the candidates. Then we have the voter list. That's all you will find. Now close this one. Close this one, in which you will find these 2 icons. Simply ignore that. It's not that important. Now you can come back to the script. So we have optimized the script so you can easily able to run on the Hardhat environment as well as in the test network environment. So just keep it as it is. Then we have the CSS file. We have coded all the CSS code for our application. So just keep it as it is. If you want to make any changes in the coloring, in the pattern, you can do that. So this is the color framework we are using, but you can simply play around with this variable if you know how to do it, because you need to have a basic understanding of CSS. And here we have the test. So just keep it as it is, not that important. And now come back to the most important thing, which is our environment variable. Environment variable, and this one is very important. You have to provide the relevant information where you are deploying the contract. So when I'm going to deploy the contract to the actual test network, I'm going to go with Ethereum Hostly Test Network. And this is the RPC URL I'm using. And this is the provider I'm using. There are multiple providers like Infura, we have Acme, but this one is most popular one and it will mostly a free one which you can use it. And here you have to get your private key of your wallet which you want to use it for deploying the contract, but make sure you should have some fun in that. So when you will use that particular account private key, it's going to become the admin of the contract. Will have the access over the contract for registration, candidate and voter, which I will show you. So you have to get your variables. So this one is working fine when we go to deploy on Hostly, but if you are deploying to any other network, make sure to provide this one in all the places. Now we have the environment variable for our frontend side. So if I click here, here I have done all the optimization. So you don't need to do anything. All you have to do is to get your own Pinata API key and secret key. Like this will work absolutely fine. There's no problem in that, but it has a limit. So once it will reach its limit, this is not going to work. So you have to get your own Pinata API key and secret key, which I will tell you how you can get. And here you have to provide the information. So you have to provide your contract address. Once you will deploy that, that's what you have to give here. Here you have to give the account which you're going to use for deploying the contract. And first I'm going to test on localhost. After that, I'm going to deploy to Hostly. So the moment you will switch any one of this, if I bring this back and if I close this one, so the entire configuration which I have in the system is going to focus on Hostly test network, not on the localhost. So this is how you can switch, but make sure deploy the contract. Wherever you're deploying your contract, activate that portion as well. So we'll show you how you can do that. So first we're going to deploy on the localhost. Now close this one. Now the next one we have is the Hardhat setup, and this one is very, very important that you have to understand the basic requirement for testing this particular application in your local environment using Hardhat. So here I have explained few important things which you have to give a little focus right up here. So the first thing you have to understand that when you are deploying your contract and testing in the Hardhat environment, you cannot use any other account. So you have to use the Hardhat account. So when you will run the node, Hardhat will give you 20 plus account, and that account you can only use in the Hardhat environment. If you have your account, like your main account, you cannot use that in the Hardhat environment. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you need to have this particular node version. If you have any other node version, Hardhat will not work because Hardhat is not compatible with the latest node version. So you have to use this particular node version. Then we have to install the packages. You have to run the node. When you will run the node, then you can able to get the Hardhat account and you can able to add this network, the Hardhat network in your MetaMask. And by default, Hardhat is going to use this particular account. That's the first thing you have to keep in mind, that this account is going to be used as an admin. And this account has this much fake ETH which you can use for testing the contract. And this is the network configuration you have to do in your MetaMask. And here is one more important thing, that when you will switch your account, like you are in your MetaMask and you have 2 account for Hardhat or 4 account for Hardhat. So if you are in account number 1 and if you're switching to account number 2, so you have to clear the history every single time whenever you do this. Because if you don't do that, the transaction will fail and you will get an error of RPC URL error. So you have to clear the history, then it will recognize as a fresh account and you can able to make the transaction. So here you will have all the Hardhat account which Hardhat will give you. So you can simply copy the private key and you can simply import in your MetaMask and perform the transaction. This is going to be the admin of the contract and you can simply import that. I hope so far things are clear to you that what exactly you have to do and how it will work. So this is the Hardhat setup, which I'm going to do together. So you can simply follow as it is. Now we have this Hardhat configuration. So here I've done the optimized configuration. So you don't need to do anything. First, we're going to test on the Hardhat. After that, we're going to move to Hostly. So we have done the optimization as for the global approach. The next one we have is this Next.config. You don't need to do anything in here. We are using Pinata IPFS for uploading the data. So we have to configure their root domain, and that's what I have done. So the next one we have is the package.json file, and here I've done the advanced configuration. So here you will find all the packages which we are utilizing, which is very much stable and well audited. Here we are using this particular Nomic Foundation, Hardhat Toolbox and Hardhat version. And here I have given you a couple of commands. So this is the command we're going to run the local node. This is the command we're going to run for deploying our contract locally. And this command is going to be run for deploying to Ethereum test network. And if you run this particular command, it's going to remove this particular folders files, which will automatically get generated whenever you install the packages and run the project. So we have all of this. You don't need to touch anything because every single thing is properly well optimized. Now come back to the README file, and here you will have some important links, some important resources which you will find, so you can simply explore. So here you will have the complete project, which you can simply must watch. That's why I've given you the URL. So you can simply follow the complete project to understand the complete architecture of the project. And here you will find the code structure. You can simply install the VS Code by following this link. And here is the most important thing. Like you might be wondering that how you can simply downgrade your node version or upgrade your node version. So I would highly encourage you to follow this particular video in which I have explained that how you can install NVM. NVM start for node version manager, which allow you to control your node version in your system, whether you are using Mac or OS. So you simply watch this video where I have simply downgraded my node version, showing you actually how you can install the packages and how you can control it. That's all is there. And if you can use this ankr.com for getting the RPC URL. So this is the RPC URL. I have used this particular website to get. So you will find multiple website RPC URLs which you can check here and check. You can get the free faucet for the hostly network. That's all is given. Now, I hope you have understood the complete folder and file structure. Now let me show you every single thing in practical. So first thing you have to do is to open up your terminal and you have to check your node version. So if I check my node version, I have this one, which is the latest one, and it's not going to work with Hardhat. So I have to downgrade my node version. So if I simply type nvm use 18, the version name. So this is the version I'm using. The moment I will hit, it's going to simply downgrade my node version. It will also downgrade my npm version. Now, if I check my node version, I have the required one. Now everything is set. So this is how you can downgrade once you will install NVM in your system. And the configuration I have done in my system, in my terminal. Right now you can see that I have this particular node version. But the moment I will delete my terminal, it will switch back to this particular one, the latest one. This is my personal configuration I have done. So whenever you open a new terminal, you should check that what configuration you have in your system as a default. So the moment I will simply close and open it up, it will automatically come back to the latest version. So I have to simply downgrade it because I'm working on a multiple project. That's why I have set this particular system. So I hope you have understood. So I have the required version. Now I can simply install the packages. Simply type npmi and it's going to do the installation. It will take few seconds, so just give some time. So finally the installation is completed. I got my node modules in that I have all the packages. Perfect. And I'm getting couple of vulnerabilities and couple of commands. Simply ignore this command, don't need to run it. Otherwise it's going to change the package structure, package version. Simply ignore this, it's not that important. So simply clear up your terminal. Now our terminal is clear. Now I'm ready to start the node because first I'm going to deploy in our Hardhat environment. So if you come back here, this is the command which I have to execute. So if I simply come back here, so before I run this particular command, we have to do a couple of setup. So come back to the environment variable, like right up here, and we have to get our own Pinata API key and secret key, and we have to do the localhost network configuration because I want to show you some important concept here. That's why let's do the setup first. So let's get this environment variable first. So what I will do, I'll come back here, open a new tab and type Pinata Cloud. This one is a really powerful site which help you to get the API key and secret key which you can use to deploy to IPFS through Pinata. So simply log it. I already have my account, so I'm going to simply log in. But when you will create your account for the fresh email ID, it might take up to 3 to 4 hours to get your account verified. And when you will generate the API key, it will take little hours. So you have to check that how long it takes to get your API completely active. So here you will find all the file which you will upload. So I'll simply click on this API key. And here I will find all the API key which I have created. So I'll simply click on this new API key and I can give a name to my API key. So I'll say, let's say DApp. I want to have the access of all the feature which is available. So I'll simply click on admin and from here you can able to set the limit that how many files you want to upload from this particular API key. So the maximum you can set to 1000 because it's my free account and you can use it for absolutely free. Now click on this generate API key. And here you will get these three modules, like you will get the API key, secret key and JWT if you want to do the backend communication. But you need these two, simply copy and that's what you have to update here. Then you can simply copy this one and that's what you have to update here. So I will go with the same one because it will take a little bit time to get activated. So this one is the activated one which I can simply use. So this is how you can get your API key. Hope you have understood. You should always check your API key whether it's activated or not because when you will upload it, you will get that 401 or 403. This is the two error you will get when you will not fully activate your account. But you will get it very easily. Make sure to use a fresh account, fresh email ID. So once you get your API key, now simply close this one. Come back here. So we're done with that. Now we have to do the network configuration. So first thing I would suggest you that if you already have the Hardhat accounts in your MetaMask, you should remove that. So what I can do, I can show you my MetaMask and I can simply log into my MetaMask account and you will find that currently I have 4 accounts. These 2 accounts, 1 and 2 is my actual account and this 3 and 4 is my Hardhat account. So what I will do, I'll first going to remove this account. I want you to do the exactly because this one is very important to understand that which account will have the access as admin level. So simply remove this one. I want you to have the same path where I am at the moment. So we have removed the Hardhat account. Right now, this one is my actual account. So I'll just keep it. So once you're done with that, now you have to remove the localhost network configuration from your MetaMask. I want you to do the fresh configuration because I want to show you. Otherwise, you will say that my local host is not working. So I already done the configuration. If I want to do the editing, I can do all of that and I can simply do it. But I want to simply refresh it to show you the fresh configuration you can do it. So simply remove this one. So I have successfully removed the localhost and you can see I don't have it. Now I'm going to simply add this network manually. So first thing what I can do is I want to show you one thing. Click here, click on this add network and here you have to provide the details of the network which you want to configure. So I want to configure localhost. So I already given you the configuration details right up here. So if you come back to the context, constants, here we have this configuration details. So this is the exact details you have to provide in your MetaMask. So first thing is going to be the name, copy that one and paste here. And the second thing you have to provide is the RPC URL. And you will notice one thing that when I will try to import this RPC URL, it will not work. It will throw me an error. So let me show you. I'll click on this and I will paste here and click on add URL. It's giving me this particular error, fetch chain ID, RPC correct. So this particular error you will face when your local node is not running. As you can see, my local node is not running. If I show you my package.json file, I have to run this command. Then I can able to add the network. So this is what you have to do. So first, what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to bring my terminal up. I'll check my node version. Do I have the required one? Yes, I have. Command npm run node and hit enter. So you can see I'm getting this error. And the reason why I'm getting this error because I have to get the private key. No matter whether you are testing locally or a Ethereum test network, because we have done the configuration right up here. So it's going to take the private key. So we have to get the private key. So I'm going to take the private key of my actual account, which I'm going to use for deploying the contract on Ethereum test network. So I'm going to use the account number 1. So let me get the private key for that. So I'll simply click on that account details, show private key, and I can give my password. And I can click on this hold. I have copied my private key and you don't share your private key with anyone. So what I will do, I'll simply come back here and I'm going to simply provide it here. So let me quickly do it. So finally, I have provided my private key. Now I'm going to open this package.json file one more time and I'm going to simply execute the command. So first I'm going to clear my terminal. I'll type npm run node, hit enter. And it's going to start our local node in our system. You can see it will give you 20 plus accounts. And you can only use this account to test your contract in the Hardhat. Now our RPC server is started. Now we can easily able to import in our MetaMask. So this one is very important. You have to use this account. Like this is the private key and this is going to be your admin 2266. And the rest of the account you can use as a user. Got it? This account will have the control over the smart contract for registration of the candidate and the voter. That's very important. Now this is running. You have to make this running. Now we can able to add the localhost in our MetaMask. So let's come back here and I'm going to click on this, click on the add network and I can give the information. So we'll say local host. I've given the name. Now I can give the RPC URL. So you can get the RPC URL from here or you can get it from here. Both are the same one. Both RPC URL is the same. Like both are the same. Now I can come back here and you will see that the moment I will add, I won't have an issue. So the RPC URL is added successfully. Perfect. Now we can give the chain ID. I can come back here and this is the chain ID I have. Simply copy this one and that's what I can provide here. And it says ETH. So I have to give the ETH symbol. Perfect. You can just skip this part, external URL. And I want to change it here as well. So it's saying ETH. So we have to use ETH. Say ETH and that's what I can simply say ETH. Perfect. Save it. So this should be running. This should be running. Okay. Now I can click on this save. So the network is added successfully. Now I can simply come back here and I can simply switch back to my localhost. Click on it, Right now I'm connected in my localhost, but the account which I'm using is my actual account on the mainnet and the testnet, but I cannot use this account. So now I have to import this account, and I want you to import this account, this particular account first, because it's going to be an admin, and I'm importing this account in my account number 3. So I have 1 2 and I'm going to be the 3. So I'll simply click here, click on this import account, and I'm going to paste my private key and import. So I have imported the account successfully. You can see it's loading. Here I will come, it's going to fetch the balance. You can see the account address is reflecting 2266 is going to be the admin. Now what I will do, I can simply come back here and I'm going to simply import this account, account number 1, the second account. So let's click here, come back here, and I click on this import, paste and import. I have imported the 4 in the 4 number account. So now I will import, let's say, 2 more account. So I can show you all the transactions. So I can simply import 1 more account. Perfect. We have done with 3 accounts we have imported, and we're going to import this one as well. You have to do exactly the same thing, otherwise you're going to have a lot of confusion. So I have imported the account. Now it's fetching the balance. I can come back to account number 3, which is the admin. Click here. It's still fetching the information. I'll simply give a reload, and I'm going to open the application one more time, and you can see the fund is reflecting fine. So I have this much fund. If I open this one, I have the full fund in my wallet address. But the moment I will execute the transaction and deploy the contract, this particular account going to pay the fee for deployment. So let's come back here. That's the first thing we have done. Make sure to keep running this. I'm going to simply close this one. I'm going to simply open this one. And now I have to simply provide my address of the owner, the one who will deploy the contract, and the contract address. So what I will do is I will simply split this one, and I'm going to use this account number, this 2266. So I'll simply copy this one, and that's what I'm going to provide as an owner. Then I have to deploy the contract. So I'll simply come back here in the package.json file, and I have this particular command. So simply copy, and that's what I'm going to do. So first I'm going to check my node version, because I told you that I have a different configuration. So it's the latest one. I have to simply downgrade my node version. So I have downgraded my node version, clear up my terminal. Now I'm going to deploy my contract. Simply npm run deploy and hit enter. And it's going to compile our contract, and it's going to generate the artifact. So you can see we got the artifact. In that you will have the ABI of your contract. So if you click here, this is the ABI. So when you deploy your contract, make sure to give the fresh ABI which you will get. So simply drag and drop here, because whenever you change a simple text in the contract, it's going to change the ABI. So you should always provide the updated ABI. So I have provided the updated ABI, and I got the address of the contract. In your case, you will get the same address because we are testing in the local environment. And when you will deploy your very first contract, Hardhat always generate this same address. Copy this one. Now I'm going to simply close this one, come back here, and I can simply paste my contract address. So I got the contract address, I got the admin who deployed the contract, the network configuration is done, I got my PNAT IP key, every single thing is looking good. Got it? Now I'm going to simply clear up my terminal, make sure this should be running. Now I have to simply start the application. We have this particular command called dev. So we'll say npm run dev, and it's going to start the application on localhost 3000. You can simply copy this URL, and you can simply minimize this one. I'm not cutting it up, I'm just minimizing my terminal. I'm going to simply close this one, close this one. Now you can come back to the browser, open a new tab, and paste localhost 3000. Our phantom wallet is popping up. So what I will do, I'm going to simply reject this one. So let's come back here. I'm going to simply remove this phantom wallet from my extension. I'm going to give a reload. You can see I've given the reload, and now it will automatically pop up this update localhost network. So it's going to automatically do the configuration. Simply click on accept, and here you will find that we are logged into our application. Perfect. Now if I show you my MetaMask, which account I'm connected to the account number 3, and I'm calling this connect account. So click on this connect. So I have connected successfully with the application. I'm not having any issue. I hope you are on the same stage where I am. We have 0 candidate and 0 voter. So only this particular account, can register voter and candidate, because that's what system we have in the real organization. Like we have an election commission who allow user to give vote and allow user to register as a candidate. So only this particular account can do that because it's an admin. That's the thing you have to understand. Once again, I would highly encourage you to follow the complete project. You will understand everything. So once you're done with that, if you click here, you will have multiple options: register candidate and register voter. voter and candidate. So what I will do first, I'm going to register a candidate. So simply click here and you will notice that I'm getting these options. So I can upload my image, the candidate image to the application. I can give the name, I can give the address. So you have to provide the address of that particular user. Got it? And you have to provide the age. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a little setup here. So I'll come back here in the Hardhat config file, and here I'm going to take a set of accounts which will act as a candidate and as a voter. So let me do that very quickly. So here I have taken few addresses. So account number 1, you can see we have the list. It starts with 0. But we are taking account number 1 and 2 as a candidate and taking account number 3 and 4 as a voter who will give the vote to the candidate. And that's what I have taken here. So I'm going to use this account to register as a candidate, and I'm going to use this account to register as a voter. So let's start registering first candidate. So I'm going to simply copy this one and I'm going to come back here. And first I have to simply redo the page, and it's uploaded. Now I can click on this and I have to upload the image of the user. So I'll simply click here and I can simply come back here. I can click this, the blockchain coder. I will select is going to simply upload, and you can see that we have successfully uploaded our candidate image and I'm not having any issue. So if you get any error, make sure to simply do the inspect element, and here you will find the details that whether it's a 401 and 403, because this is the two error we will get when your API is not authenticated or you might have reached the limit. So I have deployed the image successfully. I'll give the name. So I'll say, let's say the blockchain coders. I can give the address which I want to use it. So I want to use the account number 1. I'm going to simply paste the address and I can give the position, or you can call it age. So I'll say 45. Let's give it the age. But the moment I will call this particular function, the transaction will fail. The moment I will call the function, the transaction will fail. So let's click on this authorized candidate. It's going to make a call. Here it's making our MetaMask popped up, and you can see I'm using the admin account, account number 3. And here I'm passing all the details. So the moment I will click on this confirm, the transaction will fail. You can see that instead of failing the transaction went successfully. But in 80% of the time, the transaction will fail. Let me show you why. Because when you will simply open the MetaMask and before you make the very first transaction from any wallet address, you have to click here. You have to go back to the settings and you have to clear the MetaMask history. Because sometime you will get an error called RPC URL error. And this will happen because when you will switch your account. So make sure always clear your MetaMask history. This time it went through, but maximum time you will find that the transaction will fail. And here we have registered our first candidate. If I click here, come back, and I can click on this candidate. I can come back here. You can able to find the candidate, and I can register one more candidate, which is the account number 2. So I'll come back here. I'll get the account number 2, and I'll simply come here, upload it, click on the image, and this time I'll get the Daulat. It will upload my image to the IPFS, and I got the image. I can simply give the name. I'll say Daulat Hussain. I can give the address, and I can give a 67, and I can click on this authorized candidate. It's going to make a call and it will confirm the transaction. You will find all of these details, click on confirm, and the transaction is completed and we have registered 2 candidates. So this is the first thing you have to do. So what you have noticed that I'm using my admin account and I have registered the account number 4 and 5 as a candidate. And that's what we have here. Now we have to register the voters. So I'm going to use this account number 3 and 4. Got it? Now I can simply come back here. I'll simply close this one. Now I'm on the same admin account. Click on this register, voter register. It will take me here. I'm going to simply remove it, and now I can simply register my voter. So I'll simply select here. You can pick any image. So this time I'll go with this list. I'll select this image. It's going to upload, and just wait. Once the upload will complete, you will have the image right up here. I can give the details. I'll say voter 1. I can give the address of the wallet. So I'll simply click here. I'm going to get the address, copy, and that's what I can simply paste here. And I can give, let's say 30, 45, and click on this authorize voter. It's going to make a call, and I have to confirm the transaction, and the transaction is completed. I haven't given the vote, and you can see the wallet address. Perfect. Got it? I want to register one more voter. So I'll simply select here, can come back to my code. I can get the next address, simply copy that one. I can come back here, click on this, click on the, and let's upload one more. So this time I'm going to get this buddy. It's my image. It's uploading and we have uploaded successfully. I'll say voter 2. I can give the void address. This is the exact void address we have. Let's say 65. Perfect. Now I can give a age. I'll say 23 and click on this authorized voter. It's going to make a call and we'll have this voter registered. So click on confirm and the transaction went successfully. So we got two voters and a candidate. So I'll simply come back here. We have this. We have two candidate and two voter. Now we can able to give the vote. So you can simply come back here. And now if I show you, we have registered account number 4 and account number 5 as a candidate. You can simply confirm because first I want you to list down all the account which you want to use as a candidate, and then you have to also list out all the account which you want to use as a voter, and then you have to register one by one. So only those void address can give vote to the candidate. Hope you have understood the architecture because this is the system we have in the real world. Now what I will do, I'm going to use this particular account B906, which is the voter. Like you can see B906. So I'll simply select here and I will click on this connect. I'm going to simply clear my MetaMask history, advance, clear, and reload the page. Now I'm ready to give vote. So for example, I want to give the vote to this particular one. Right now it has 0 votes. So I'll simply click on this. Give vote is going to make a call and I have to simply confirm the transaction. Simply click on confirm and the transaction went through. You will see that this particular user got 1 vote. If you try to give vote, it's going to give you an error. The transaction will fail. That sorry, you have already given your vote. You have understood? Now, if you come back to the voter list, there you will find the list of all the voters who have given their vote. So this account, this dude has already given their vote. So he cannot give. This one is not given their vote. So this is how you can track down that who given the vote and who not given the vote. So if I come back here, I have one more account I have registered as a voter. So I can simply come back here and it's this account. So I have imported this account. So let's import that. I'll come back here, click on it and click on this, give my private key and import, connect. So this is account number 7, which is the voter. So I'll simply select this, clear my MetaMask history and reload the page. Now I want to give the vote to the same dude. I can click on this give vote. It's going to make a call and click on this confirm. And the transaction went through and this got 2 votes. If you come back to the voters, there you will find that both the candidates have given their vote. If I click on the account number 3, let me clear my MetaMask history, advance, clear and reload the page. Now if I come back to the home, I can give a vote. What do you think? Let's give a vote and click on confirm. And you will get this error because you are not allowed to give vote. You will get this error because admin is not allowed to give vote because we have to be fair. That's why we have built the system. So I would highly encourage you to follow the complete project and understand the smart contract. This contract is really powerful. We have designed in a multi-layer form so you can convert it into any kind of organization which you want to use it. So this is the thing you have to understand. Now if I come back here and if I give the reload and if I go back to the next one, if I go to account number 3, which is the candidate, I'll simply connect and I'm going to simply clear my MetaMask history, click on advanced and I'm going to simply reload the page. You will notice, can I give the vote? Click on this give vote and it's going to make a call, click on confirm. No, you cannot give your vote. So those who have taken part as a candidate, they can also not give vote. Contract we have built which has the layer of multiple security which can prevent for accessing or giving and doing any kind of manipulation in the entire voting system. So this election can be totally organized by the voter, not by the candidate or not by the one who's organized the election. So this is the complete system we have built. So I would highly encourage you to come and watch this particular project. So I hope you have understood that what exactly you have to do and what setup you have to do to test the application in your local environment using Hardhat. So once you're done with that, now we have to test on our Ethereum test network. So this is what we done it. I'm going to simply replicate it and I'm going to simply comment this one. Now I'm going to use, let's say, the actual network, which is the Ethereum test network for deploying the contract. So I'm going to simply comment this one and I'm going to bring this back. So I have done this one. I have already taken my private key in my environment variable. I hope you have already have your private key. And this time I'm going to use this particular account number 1, which is my actual account. I cannot use the Hardhat account. and I have to switch my account to Hostly. I can simply switch and you can able to see the fund I have in my account. If you don't have this network, you can simply add it manually. So what I will do, I'm going to simply delete this network, or you can simply do the editing in all of that. But let me show you how you can add it manually. Then I can show you a couple of more things. So make sure to click here and delete. So this network is not there in my MetaMask. So to add it manually, what I have to do is can simply come back here. The same drill you have to perform, constant, and here you have to get the information. That's all information is given. So first you have to copy the name. That's what I'm going to simply copy. Click here, add custom network, give the name. You have to give the RPC URL. Come back here. This is the RPC URL I'm using. This is the same RPC URL which we have in the environment variable. So make sure to use the same RPC URL for all the places where you are testing on actual test network. Now we have to provide the chain ID. So we can simply come back here and we can simply get the chain ID, copy this one. And that's what we can simply paste. It will automatically reflect that what symbol you have to use. So we'll see use ETH. And the Explorer URL, you can get it very easily. So you can simply get the from here, or you can simply get it from Etherscan. So I already have that. That's what I'm going to provide. And let's give this one add. And we have provided all of these details. Now click on the save. The moment you will do that, it will be added successfully. Now you have to simply switch. So click on that and it will be selected. And you can see that I have this much fund in my account. So I can easily able to deploy the contract because I'm using the same account private key in my system, and it's going to be the admin of the contract. But in your case, if you don't have this fund, you can simply get and mine your own faucet. So you can simply come back here in the resource section. There you will find that we have this tool. Click on this get now, and it will take you to this particular site. This will allow you to mine your own Ethereum faucet for Hostly network. So you can simply get it. So all you have to do is to simply click it here. And right now you can see I have this 8.173, but I can mine more. So I can simply copy the address of the account which you want, and I can paste here, and it's going to simply select it, verify successfully. I can click on this start, and this process will take a little bit time. Like you can simply wait for 3 minutes to 2 minutes and you will get 1 ETH. So I'm going to wait for a couple of time because all the fund which you can see in my MetaMask in this particular account, this is how I got it. I simply mine this particular faucet and I then transfer to my wallet address. So just wait. Once I will get a little bit fund here, so I will transfer it so I can show you. But in your case, you should wait for 5 minutes and you will have enough ETH to perform multiple transactions. So here it's happening. You can able to find that all the transactions which I have made successfully, that average per hour, the total share, the remaining session you have, the maximum claim you can get, the minimum claim, that's all is there. So I have this much. Let's reach it to be 2. I can simply click here. So you can able to see the notice in the difference. So right now I have this 2. So let's stop that one. You will see this fund will go up. Now I click on this stop mining and here it will come. I can simply click on this claim reward and it's in the queue. Once the transaction will complete successfully, you will get the confirmation and the fund will be transferred to your wallet address. So just wait. The process is taking a little bit time. So we are testing on Hostly. So finally the transaction is completed. You can click here and you will come back to the Hostly scan and you can able to find the details about the transfer you have done. So you can come back here. I'm going to simply close this one, close this one. I can come here and I'm going to simply open this MetaMask and you can see the fund is off. It's now 5. So we have successfully transferred the fund. So this is how you can get the fund. And I'm using this particular account for getting the faucet. So far so good. I'll simply copy the address. I can come back to my code and I will simply remove this one and I will paste the address because this is what I'm using. Got it? I have activated the network. The rest will be fine. Now I have to simply deploy the contract. I hope you have provided your private key the way I have explained you. Now you can simply close this one and come back here and open up your terminal. This is running. You can simply stop this one because this one is for only testing in the local environment. Then you have to simply run this one. So I'll simply delete this one, and I'm going to open my terminal one time and check my node version. It's in the updated one. So I'll simply downgrade it. So let me do that. And I have downgraded my node version. Perfect. Now I have to simply run this particular command because this time I'm deploying to our actual network. Simply copy that one and type npm run deploy and hit enter. It's going to generate the artifact and it's going to update the artifact, and that you will have the ABI. That's all you will have. So here it's using the Paris EVM target chain, and you can see the command which we have highlighted that's getting executed and is deploying our contract. So when it will deploy successfully, we'll get the address and which we can provide in our environment variable. So it's happening. Let's click on this and just wait. because this time we are actually deploying on the actual test network, not in a local environment. So we have deployed our contract successfully. I'll simply copy this address which I have got and paste here. Boom. We got that. Now you will have this artifact. In that you will see the updated API you have got. Simply drag and drop here and paste it here. I want you to do this every time whenever you deploy a contract. Although if you don't make any changes in the contract, the API is going to be the same, but just for being on the safer side, because sometimes what I have noticed that unintentionally some students make the mistake in the contract and they forget to add the API. And in that they encounter an error. So we have deployed the contract. Now you can simply clear it up and you can simply run the application npm run dev. The contract is started. You can simply copy. You can come back here, open a tab and reload the page. You will see it will automatically going to change the network. So you can come back here. It's already added here. But what if I can simply delete this one? So because we have that system. So if I can simply come here and delete the network, and the moment I will reload the page is automatically going to configure the network, because that's the system we have built. Click on the proof and the network is added successfully. So here we got that. You can see the detail is empty. There is no candidate, there is no user. And this is the admin now. So I can simply clear my history and I can register the candidate. So this time I cannot use the Hardhat account. Like I cannot use the Hardhat account because Hardhat is only for the internal use, the local testing. Got it? So what I have to do is can simply switch back to the account number 2. Not switch, I'm simply copy the address of the account 2. Click on account details and I can copy, because this is the one registration I want to do, because I don't want to just waste my faucet unnecessarily. I just want to show you because you already know how to do the transaction and how the contract work. We have tested in the local heart. And I don't have many accounts for registering as a candidate and the voter. I only have these 2 accounts which I can use it. So I'm in the account number 1. Now I can click on this, go back to the candidate registration, and now I can simply perform the transactions. I'll click here. I can select the blockchain coder. It's uploading. Once it will upload successfully, you will find the details. I can say, let's say the chain coder. I can give the address. This is the account number 2, and I can give this, let's say 2. Click on authorize candidate. It's going to make a call, and this time we have performed the transaction on the actual test network. You can see, click on confirm, and the transaction is in the process because this transaction is happening on the real test network. So just a moment, soon it's going to complete the transaction and this particular candidate would be registered successfully in the smart contract. And fine, the transaction is completed and we have registered the user, and here you can see we got it right up done. So no matter when you stop the application, if I simply open it up and stop the application, and if I simply restart the application, you will find this data is already there. And you can see I'm getting this depreciated because it's in the latest version. So I can simply downgrade my node version and I can simply type npm run dev. And here it's got started. Now I can simply reload the page and it will be automatically there. If I open a new tab, it will be fetching the data. So every single thing is looking good. Now I hope you have understood that how you can do the transaction and test in your Hardhat environment and in the actual test network. So I hope you have understood that how you have to do the setup, when you will get the final source code, what are the things that are there in the project. I would highly encourage you to follow the complete project. You will understand every single thing. We have discussed in deeply about the smart contract and how you can set multiple rules if you want to customize the contract based on the specific organization. So simply download the starter file. You can come back to the source code section. There you will find it. Click here and download the starter file and start following the project. So that's the only thing from my end. I hope everything is good. With that, I'm ending this. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.